All right, World Series is over for me. Unfortunate, very, very early exit in this tournament. But we're going to talk about the overall, everything that happened throughout the week. Maybe we can all learn something from it, so stay tuned. Well, that certainly wasn't exactly what I had in mind for the trip. and, I mean, I kind of expected to do a little bit better, but that's how it goes sometimes. When you're bowling, two or three or even four events on the same building, you're kind of stuck with the. If you're not bowling well at that time, you're gonna have trouble the entire week. So, or if you just don't match up in a building, which I can't even say it's that because I've won events in that building before. Um, so I'm not really sure that I can blame it on not really matching up. I think it's just more of it was just bad bowling, bad execution. I still struggled with the same things as far as my grip goes. Um, Made the changes to the thumb, which made it a little bit better, I thought, and it was good through practice. And I must do something different when the tournament starts or something, because all of a sudden when the tournament started, I struggled with getting my hand out of the ball properly from shot to shot. It was different. One time I felt like I hung up in a little bit. One time I'd feel like I dropped it. Um, so after Chameleon in the middle of the block on Scorpion, I actually went out and drilled a new thumb on the truck, and I went with 30 degrees on the thumb instead of the 28. So it's just a little bit of a difference. And then I went forward and a little bit left, and I tried to use it, and it through practice, I felt like I was dropping it. So it took me basically all of practice to get the tape to get the tape proper, to get the tape in the right spot, to make it feel like I could hold onto the ball and release it at the right point. Um, and eventually I did get there, and it did feel good throughout the day. So I feel like I bowled my best block, that last block in Scorpion. Unfortunately, I didn't score very well, and I think a lot of it is because the thumb probably changed my ball roll a little bit. So making the changes, making the adjustments got a little bit difficult. I was guessing wrong because it was getting off my hand cleaner. Just like we talked about before, when I was shooting spares, I had to readjust my alignment to shoot the spares because the thumb was getting off my hand faster. So I had to close my angles down a little bit more. Near the end of the block, I actually shut my angles down and just took my hand out of it. Didn't try to do a whole lot. And I think, and if we look back on this whole thing, I think it ended up being the majority of why I struggled is because I was too busy trying to do what everybody else was doing. I was trying to really go around the lane, trying to hook it a bunch when I probably could have just done, I could have just shut my angles down, uh, brought the ball closer towards the pocket. Instead, I was trying to, later in the blocks, I was trying to go from, 25 to 5 and get the ball to come back and go through the pins still. And I struggled to do that. And that's always been a weak point for me when I really probably could have just played 25 to 10 and just used a weaker hand position and just let it tip through the pocket. And I probably could have gave myself more room for error, and not felt like I had to throw it perfect. And I did put some scores up. I mean, I had two 70s, I had two 40s, a couple of two 30s in there throughout the week. So it's not like I couldn't completely figure it out. It's not like I was bowling 190 or 2-0 every single game. I just it all comes back down to matching up. And one of the big variables, because there's a lot of variables when it comes to bowling well at the elite level, is your cross. I put that score. Anybody that follows me on Facebook saw that score. I'll put it up on the screen here too. But the that game two of the first block, I bowled 225 the first game, feeling like I had a really good ball reaction, and I only bowled 225 because I opened in the 10th. I threw a bad shot in the 10th. Otherwise, every shot before that was pretty good. I struck 7 of the first 9 frames, and I had in two of the 2 frames that didn't strike were just wrap 10s. So they were still pretty good shots. So I had 250 out there, and instead I missed left and I think it was like a 467 or something in the 10th for 225. But then we had to flip to the other side of the building, and that's where we started to see some problems. And it was different for all of us. My first shot, I tried to play the same lane, same part of the lane, and use the same ball, and it 2-8-10 on a pretty good shot. So I'm like, okay, I'll make a move back to where I originally started in the first game, because I did make some moves that first game and made the move back, and it overhooked and 2-4-7 or 2-4-10. So now at this point I'm like, okay, well, one underhooked, one overhooked. Now what? So I moved a whole zone left, and it overhooked again. So I struggled throughout the whole game, split 6 times, and bowled 140 in a game where I didn't physically throw it bad. It was just one of those pairs where whoever we followed, they must have not played right at all, didn't break them down at all. They probably started either with urethane in the track, or they used surface left. You couldn't really tell because it was on the other side of the building, so we didn't get a chance to go over and exactly watch. But that's one of the variables in this game is who you follow is really important out here. If you've got good crosses, if you're following the right people, you can score because they're breaking the lanes down properly. If you're following people who are struggling and they're just playing all over the place like me, like I was, you're probably not. It's not a very good cross. It's not a very good follow. So you're not going to put up huge scores or any good scores that way, or it's going to be very unlikely. It's not that you can't. It's just not as easy. So you just have to make better guesses, better quick adjustments than what you normally would. And it's really, really difficult to do that. But all in all, very disappointing week. But you know what? It's not like it's the end of the world. I've had bad weeks before. I know I'm going through this transition of trying to figure out the grip. Started bowling a little bit more. That's pretty much going to be the last PBA event, other than regionals, that I bowl for a while, because now they've just got the playoffs and all that stuff. So you'll see me out bowling regionals and whatnot this summer, spring and summer when they start up again, and some local weekend stuff. But there's really nothing big going on other than that. I'm not bowling the Masters next week. So to everybody that's going out there and bowling, good luck. High scores, do what you got to do. That's going to be another one where who you follow is going to be really important, because you got a lot of bowlers going out there. And I don't want to call them less skilled bowlers, just less experienced bowlers, because they haven't seen the transitions. They haven't seen what's going on. So they're kind of just trying to figure it out, and they're playing all over the place, not really breaking the lanes down. So it makes it for a mess. You start seeing some X's out there that are, zigzags. Your ball either hooks or underhooks, so you see that an awful lot at big tournaments like that with big fields, when they're open fields and not just, top quality PBA guys. But anyway, that's all I got. Used a bunch of different bowling balls this week. I took mostly Storm and Rotogrip stuff this week. But I did use everything. The ball I used the most of was that Volatility. The Volatility pretty much got me through the week. And I say got me through the week is it was just my best ball reaction. I didn't really have much with anything else. I tried to use a few things. The IQ Emerald looked okay in certain spots, and the Halo looked okay in certain spots. But other than that, I really didn't have a whole lot of anything from anything else. So, but that's okay. That's the way it goes. I got 17 bowling balls to drill when I get back to the shop. I just got home, so I probably won't get to those until Monday. But I got 17 balls to do reviews and everything. I know everybody's watching and waiting for those reviews to come out, so stay tuned for those. But that's my week in a nutshell there for you. So hope everybody enjoyed following this. Not much really to follow. Unfortunately, it didn't go as well as I had hoped, but that's okay. Maybe somebody learned something from it. Definitely had a lot of people approach me while I was out there and thank me for videos and all that stuff. So it's really cool to see that people are watching, paying attention. Even when I'm not bowling good, it doesn't matter. You can still learn. You can still learn from my mistakes. So that's one of the cool things about this sport is you don't have to follow somebody because they're bowling great. You can follow somebody because you can learn from what they learned, because you can learn from what they experienced, and maybe it can help you make some decisions in the future. So, but that's it. That's all I got for you guys. So probably stay tuned. We'll see you guys next week at some point. Maybe I'll throw some quick stuff together this weekend. We can chat a little bit more. But otherwise, that's all I got. We'll see you guys later. Take care.